In this video, I'm going to show how we are going to run Ubuntu virtual machine within Mac OS using the open source app called UTM. So it's not just running the virtual machine. We will also see how to share the clipboard as well as desktop sharing between Mac OS and Ubuntu virtual machine using the Spice client. So as you can see, it's the shared directory between the Mac OS and Ubuntu. So we are going to cover all those things in this video. Hang tight. Welcome to Pair Programming with Harish. I am Harish Kanarao. So in this video, I'm going to show the steps needed to run Ubuntu virtual machine on a Mac OS using the open source app called UTM. So I have written a blog on how to install Ubuntu in Mac OS, and this video is a visual walkthrough of the steps that's involved in running the Ubuntu virtual machine on Mac OS. So this has got a lot of steps in it, and the objective is we will install the UTM and we will download the Ubuntu ISO installation file, and we will create a Ubuntu virtual machine and install the Ubuntu. And once it's installed, we will do some configuration changes to make it more practical. And finally, we will also make sure that the clipboard, and we can do a directory sharing with the host operating system between the host and the guest, and how to configure multiple displays and how to control the mouse scroll speed in the Ubuntu itself. So that's the objective of the video. So hang tight, it has got a lot of steps involved. So have a tea or coffee along with you, and let's get started. So the first thing is we have to get the UTM app. It is an open source app. I have given the link here. So if we head to the UTM app, we can see the download option, and we can also install it through the Mac store for a small fee. But if we download it, then we don't have to pay for it. So myself, I have downloaded the UTM DMG file. So double click the UTM and drag and drop into the applications, and that will get the UTM installed. So I'll just stop it because I've already done the installation. So once it is installed, let's launch the UTM. So before we start doing anything, make sure you also download the ISO file for the Ubuntu. So the link is here. We have to download the ISO file for the Ubuntu desktop. So go to this URL, and you can see the download option. It says 5.9 GB. So make sure that you have the ISO downloaded before you start following the video. So once it's downloaded, it's roughly about 6.35 GB. So I have got it on my machine now. So let me go back to the UTM. So at this point, I'm going to open the blog. The blog URL is I'll share it in the description, but if you want to type it, so this is the URL of the blog. So let me open it side by side. That one goes there, and the blog on the right side. Okay. So we have got the UTM, and I have got the ISO downloaded. So first thing we are going to do is create a new virtual machine. So open the UTM file, create new virtual machine. Oops, wrong one. New, and choose virtualize, and we want to do Linux, and I'll set the memory as 12 GB, and we can leave it as default and it will choose the best number of cores to use from the host operating system, or if we want to be specific depending on the number of cores that we have, I will give it as 3. But yeah, please check on your hardware spec how much you want to give. If you are in doubt, better leave it as default, and the UTM will do the right calculation to make sure that the host operating system still remains stable by allocating a safe number of cores to the guest operating system. And I'll do enable display output, and that's it. Continue. And I'm not using the Apple virtualization, so these are experimental features, so I'll stay back with QEMU, which is quite stable. And boot image type, since I have downloaded the ISO image, I will choose boot from the ISO image, and here browse, navigate to the ISO that I have downloaded. Yeah, it's the Ubuntu 24 LTS version, desktop for AMD 64, and continue. And I will go with the default size as 64 GB, which should be sufficient for this demo. And for directory path, directory sharing, I will not enable the directory sharing for now, but instead I will first focus on installing the Ubuntu and get it up and running, and then once it is successfully installed, we can do the directory and clipboard sharing later on. So for now, I'm not sharing any directory, and I'm leaving it as a default option blank. Continue. And in the name, I will give it as Ubuntu Linux. Other than that, I'll just go with all the options that we have selected so far and save. So at this point, we have defined a virtual machine. We have not finished the setup, or we haven't started the installation. At the moment, we have defined a virtual machine. We have given the hardware spec that we want, and you can also see that in the CD drive, the downloaded ISO file has been chosen. So let's continue with the installation now. So in order to install it, first we have to click the play button. So now I have to choose the try and install Ubuntu, which is selected by default, and we can use the mouse keyboard up and down to move, and finally I press enter on try and install Ubuntu. So it's coming up. Yeah, let's wait for it to come up. I'll pause the recording until the next screen comes up. So it is still loading. Okay, so once it started to boot from the ISO, it has reached this place where the Ubuntu is about to get installed. So I'll choose the English language, go next, and point and clicking, I'll leave all the default options as it is. Next. So I live in the UK, so I'll choose it as English UK, and feel free to choose different country or region as appropriate, because your keyboard has to match your region. And use the wired connection, which connects with the host operating system's Wi-Fi. and update is available. I'll just skip it for now. I'll just install the Ubuntu. So yeah, this is important because if I do update now, it's going to pull the update straight away. So just for the purpose of recording, I'm skipping the update. But if you want to update and get the latest security patches from Ubuntu, yeah, go for it. If not, skip it for now. We can do the software update later on. And I want to install the Ubuntu, not try Ubuntu. If I choose try Ubuntu, nothing will be written in my hard disk, and it will always try to boot from the ISO file. So I'll choose install Ubuntu, and I'll go with interactive installation. What apps do you want to install? I'll just go with the default selection. Installed third-party software, yes, and I'll choose yes. Erase disk and install, because this is a fresh installation. I will go with erase disk and install Ubuntu, and this is the crucial step now. So whatever name that we are giving, it will be the login name as well. So I'll give it in lowercase as Ubuntu, and computer name is Ubuntu UTM, since it's running within the UTM. So my name and username, it has picked the same name as default. Give some password that you can remember, and required my password at login, yes, and next. Yeah, it has selected the time zone, next. And just to review these options, I click on install, and the installation has begun. So I'll pause the recording now, let the installation happen, just to show the installation is still happening. It's copying all the files, necessary files, so hang tight. Finally, it took a really long time to reach this point where it says Ubuntu LTS is installed successfully. I'm going to click on the restart now. Let's see what happens next. So the Ubuntu is restarting, and we have a very important step. It says please remove the installation medium, then press enter. So don't press the enter key until we eject the ISO file. So in order to eject the ISO file, we need to click this icon here. You see the little disk type icon. So let's click on it, and you can see that the CD or DVD still points to the Ubuntu ISO image. So let's click on eject. Once it is ejected, let's double check that. Yeah, none. So at this point I'm pressing the enter key. Okay, so now there is no ISO image to boot from, so it has to boot from the actual Ubuntu installation itself. Let's wait and watch. Yay! Finally, we have the Ubuntu virtual machine. So let's log in. So use the password that we had typed during the installation. Enter. Fingers crossed. Yes. In order to just say maximize it, window fill. We got a nice welcome message, and next. I don't want Ubuntu Pro, so I'll skip it. Skip for now. I will disable the diagnostics or analytics, and I will do finish. So we have Ubuntu virtual machine available here, and I have followed the exact steps that I had captured in my blogs. you can see that once it's restarted, I had removed ejected the ISO file, and the restart has happened and we are able to log in. So there are few tweaks that I do on Ubuntu desktop in order to make it practical for me for everyday development usage. I'll come back to this, but before that we have to have the most basic and essential thing, which is to ensure that we are able to share the clipboard between Ubuntu and Mac OS, as well as directory sharing. If I have to transfer a large amount of file between my guest and host operating system, I need to have it. So let's get it set up first. So the first thing is we have to install the Spice agents. So it's available on the blog. So, it's apt install Spice VD agent and Spice WebDAV daemon. So let's go to Ubuntu, bring out the terminal, maximize, paste. So you can see that the clipboard sharing is already working, so that's a good thing. Install, and it's a good sign again, because it is connected to internet and it is pulling the packages, which is good. Once the setup is done, we have to switch it off. Close the terminal, power off, close the window. So going back to the blog, we have to enable the sharing. So go back to the UTM app, choose the Ubuntu Linux and click on the settings. So here you can see the sharing tab. So click on sharing and you can see it's already enabled. The clipboard sharing is enabled. So in the directory, for the directory sharing, we have to choose the directory share mode as Spice WebDAV. So rather than virtfs, choose Spice WebDAV, and we can choose any directory that we want. So for now I will choose the downloads directory from my Mac OS, and don't choose the read only. So we want to test the write can happen both sides. And is that it? Yeah. Save, and let's launch the Ubuntu now and see if we are able to do the file sharing between the guest and the host. The speed at which the Ubuntu starts up, it depends on how much memory we have allocated, and also how many cores, and also the disk speed. So it roughly takes about less than a minute to start on my machine. Okay, so let's test it now. So we have started the Ubuntu. The first thing is we want to verify if the Spice WebDAV actually works. Copy and go to Firefox, launch it, and paste and go. Yay! You can see some information. That's because my downloads directory is empty right now. So let me just create a file. Save, downloads, blocks, store it in the downloads directory. So it's in downloads. So now if I go back to Ubuntu, you can see that the file is present, so which means the webdev agent and daemon, it's all working fine and it's configured and working as expected. So now the next thing to do is make sure that we are also able to open the file in our file explorer. So in order to do that, let's go to the files explorer and click on other locations. So here you can see the tiny text box. So we have to type this dev protocol format, copy, and paste and connect. Not happening. Type, click connect. It should go. So let me try it once again. Other locations. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it's in the other locations. Click on Spice client folder and then double click on it and you see it's available. And let me try to create a new folder, test from Ubuntu. So I've created a directory and I should see it in the host operating system. Yes, I can see it, which means I'm able to share the files from both sides. Yeah, so in order to open the shared directory in a terminal, if we want to run a command against a big directory or something, so yeah, we had seen like we can click on the Spice client folder, which mounts a network directory, Spice client, which is shared with the host operating system. But as Ubuntu users, we always tend to work with the terminal, so it's always a good thing to open the directory in a terminal if we want to run a command or do any scripting. So once we are within the Spice client folder, go to the address bar and choose the options menu and simply select open in terminal. That's it. TR. We can see that we are able to see the files in terminal as well. So yeah, that's sorted. To see through the files explorer, which is good, and we are able to share the clipboard, which is nice. So we can do multiple display setup as well. So if you work on multiple screens and if you want to see the Ubuntu on multiple screens, let's try that. So close, I will close it, turn off Ubuntu, power off. So once it is switched off, we have to update the settings. So let me bring it side by side. Okay, this way. So right click, edit. So in this one we can see it's already configured for one display. So what I'm going to do now is new display and click on the newly created display and select the emulated as virt GPU PCI. I'm choosing this value because that's the other display that already works, so I'm choosing the same value. Leave all other default options as it is and click on save. That's it. So now it has got multiple displays. So let me start it again, and this time you can see that Ubuntu is actually starting on two displays. That's because we have added the second display. So most probably devs will like to work in more than one screen, having terminal in one screen and then the IDE on the other screen. So this is a very handy thing to have. Let's wait for it to fire up. Nice. So you can see that both screens are on, and the dash is on the main display. So we can drag each of them into multiple screens if you have. So at this point, so we have covered the main objectives of file sharing and having multiple displays. There was one particular bit that I wanted to share is in Ubuntu, since it's a virtual machine, not the one. So there is no explicit option to control the scroll speed of the mouse, because I found it a bit fiddly. So when I go to the mouse and trackpad, you can see that there is the scroll direction, but there is no scroll speed setting. So the reason is, since it's a virtual machine and it's a GNOME environment, there is no explicit scroll speed. So instead we can control the scroll speed on the Mac OS itself. So, and the Mac OS again being a bit cheeky, you have to go into system settings, not to the mouse or trackpad. Instead it is hidden in the accessibility. So accessibility, pointer control, and you have the trackpad options where you can control the scroll speed if you're using the built-in trackpad, or if you're using a mouse, Apple mouse, or regular USB mouse, you have the mouse options where you can control the mouse speeds. So at this point we have done the main things, but for my everyday life with Ubuntu, I used to make some tweaks which makes my life easier in using the Ubuntu desktop. So I'm going to show those settings within the Ubuntu itself, so you might be using that as well. So first thing is the mouse and touchpad settings. We are already here. We are into the settings, mouse and touchpad. So the main thing is I want to have the natural scroll rather than the traditional one, otherwise it goes in the opposite direction than what I would expect. And uncheck the mouse acceleration, it makes it even harder to work with. Oops, not the one. Good. And the next thing is the date and time settings. Where is that? Show app settings, system, date and time, of course. System, date and time, and automatic time zone. And I would like to see the seconds as well, especially for log monitoring. That's handy thing to have. And show apps settings, Ubuntu desktop. So what changes do I use? It's a bit annoying to go back and forth, so let me copy it. Paste and go, and close that, go away. So yeah, we are here. Ubuntu desktop, uncheck the show home folder, and uncheck the show home folder. That's icon. And what other settings do I have? Yeah, this is the important one. In the docs, show on all displays, not just the primary display but all display. Now you can see that the dock is shown not just in primary display but also on both screens. And what else? Yeah, the most annoying bit. So if I go to settings, privacy and security, especially in the screen lock, blank display never, because it's a virtual machine. So whenever I log into my Mac, I want it to be always be available for me. And turn off the automatic screen lock, and lock screen on suspend, probably not, and lock screen notifications, no. And is there anything else? Yes, of course, this one, the last one, system. And if you go into users, you can see we can change the username if you want to, or you can update the password by typing the current password and new password. And this is auto login. So in order to enable auto login, I need to authenticate and then do automatic login. So next time when the Ubuntu starts up, it will automatically log me in. And language, probably I'll change it to English United Kingdom. And that's it. Those are the changes that I do. And let me do one last try with the terminal access of the shared directory. It's not the most important thing, but just for the sake of completeness, let me try one more time. Go to the files, other locations, click on here, paste, and have 127.0.0.1:9843. Is that correct? 9843. And connect. So probably I might have to update or do the software update in order to fix it. But for now, if I click on Spice client folder, and I'm able to see it. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you will be able to run your own Ubuntu virtual machine on Mac OS. So we did the task, but the question, the main purpose, what is the main purpose of running Ubuntu on Mac OS? So myself, I'm a freelance software engineer, and I work for different clients, customers, and programs at different point in time. And and once I'm done with a project or customer, I want to thrash the whole development environment without leaving any traces. For that reason, I have the habit of spinning up Ubuntu virtual machine specific for the purpose of the project, and do all the bespoke setup that it needs, a specific version of Java or Python or Terraform or any tools excuse me, that's needed for a particular program. I install it on the Ubuntu, and since it's a disposable environment, I can do all the things that's needed for that specific program. Once the program is done, just thrash it. There is no traces of it, and also I can have proper isolation in my development environment between various customers. So that's one of the reason. And the other thing is, most of the CI tools, they are in Linux or Ubuntu, and some flavor of Linux. Although Mac has got the Unix kernel, but still there are some subtle compatibility issues between Mac terminal and Ubuntu. So if I'm writing a script targeting my CI system, it's easier for me to verify in Ubuntu itself rather than doing the guesswork on Mac and then seeing it fail on CI system. So that's the other objective, and hopefully you liked it. And please do let me know if the steps or the video works for you. Thank you.